Mary Cosby never imagined that the most complicated relationship of her life would become the very story that reshapes her future. But as Season 6 of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City unfolds, the world is finally seeing what Mary has silently carried for years. A storm of family conflict, spiritual pressure, public scrutiny, and a mother-daughter bond that fractured long before cameras ever rolled. That fracture is now forcing her to confront a truth she avoided for decades. Sometimes the people who raise you can hurt you the most. And before we dive deeper into this emotional unraveling of Mary's past, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel, because what you're about to hear will change the way you see Mary forever. Mary Cosby's story begins long before the headlines, long before the memes, long before RHOSLC turned her into one of the franchise's most mysterious figures. It begins with a daughter who grew up under the shadow of a powerful, complicated mother, Rosalind Cazares. When Mary describes her relationship with Rosalind, she doesn't speak with anger. She speaks like someone carrying emotional bruises that never fully healed. "I was walking through a storm with her," Mary says. "She was fighting me, going against me, trying to control me, trying to judge me." Mary learned early. Love and judgment would always come packaged together with her mom. Control wasn't a moment. It was a lifestyle. But the real twist comes with Mary's confession. What she endured with her mother is exactly what taught her how not to mother her own child. She says the constant battle with Rosalind shaped her parenting philosophy more than anything else. Instead of controlling, she wants to listen. Instead of dictating, she wants to understand. Instead of ruling, she wants to guide. For Mary, motherhood became a second chance, her chance to break a generational pattern she never wanted to repeat. Still, the conflict between Mary and her mother didn't begin with the show. In fact, Mary reveals that everything cracked open the moment her grandmother, a central figure in her life, died in 1997. According to Mary, Rosalind immediately stepped into a role she believed she deserved. She didn't just step into the spiritual or organizational duties. She stepped into her mother's belongings, her clothes, her jewelry, her hats, items Mary believed should remain untouched as a tribute, not trophies. Mary resisted, Rosalind pushed harder, and what started as grief slowly transformed into a power struggle. 1 year later, Mary made a decision that changed her entire future. She married her step-grandfather, Robert Sr., and stepped into the leadership role within her grandmother's church, something Rosalind reportedly believed she should have taken control of herself. That moment created a silent earthquake between mother and daughter, and neither of them ever truly recovered from it. But the drama didn't stop there. Once RHOSLC premiered in 2020, Mary says her mother began writing weekly articles in a local paper. Articles Mary describes as negative, harmful, and filled with lies. Imagine filming a reality show, facing public judgment from millions of viewers, while also battling judgment from your own mother every single week. That pressure could break anyone. For Mary, it became a dark, suffocating cloud she couldn't escape. And then, everything changed. During the filming of Season 6, Rosalind passed away. One moment, Mary was dealing with the weight of the past. The next, she was staring at the undeniable truth that her mother was gone forever. In the episode that aired on October 7th, Mary opened up about that loss for the first time. She wasn't angry. She wasn't defensive. She was reflective, almost peaceful. "I felt like it was a load off of me," she admitted. "I was able to breathe and just sigh and be like, okay, that part's over." But the part that shook Mary the most was how her mother spent her final moments, alone. When Rosalind was found, doctors told Mary that lack of oxygen had caused irreversible brain damage, meaning she had been without help for a long time. Mary's voice breaks when she reflects on this. "How you live is how you leave," she says. And in that moment, the storm that had defined their relationship transformed into something else entirely. Grief layered with compassion, forgiveness mixed with sorrow, and a hope that her mother found peace in the end. Mary is not naive about her mother's flaws, but she still hopes Rosalind made amends with the man upstairs, hoping her spirit finds light instead of darkness. That hope says more about Mary than any rumor ever could. It reveals someone who believes in redemption, in karma, in the simple truth that the energy you release into the world eventually finds its way back to you. For Mary Cosby, life has always been a mirror of spiritual lessons. You put out good. Good comes back to you, she says. She clings to that belief like it's the only thing that kept her upright during years of public ridicule, private betrayal, and family chaos. And now, with her mother gone and her story finally told, Mary seems ready, maybe for the first time, to put that storm behind her. As Mary steps into this new chapter of her life, something becomes clear. Her story isn't defined by scandal, rumors, or the bizarre headlines that often follow her. It's defined by survival. By navigating a family dynamic that constantly tested her spirit, her identity, and her faith. What viewers see now isn't just a housewife making bold comments or creating unforgettable television moments. It's a woman who fought her way through emotional chaos long before she ever sat on a confessional couch. Mary's conflict with her mother could have hardened her. It could have made her bitter, resentful, or cold. But instead, it fueled her determination to be everything she wished her own mother had been for her. She doesn't want to control her son. She wants to guide him. She doesn't want to silence him. She wants to understand him. She doesn't want her voice to be the only one that matters. She wants to listen. Every mistake Rosalind made became a lesson Mary used to reshape herself. And now, with Rosalind gone, Mary is left staring at the complicated truth that many people experience but rarely talk about. Sometimes grief is not clean. Sometimes grief is tangled. Sometimes grief carries relief, sadness, guilt, love, and unresolved questions all at once. Mary didn't lose the mother she wished she had. She lost the mother she spent years trying to make peace with. That kind of grief lingers in ways that don't fit neatly into sympathy cards or condolences. As audiences watch her journey unfold this season, they're not just seeing a reality star. They're witnessing a woman peeling back layers she kept hidden for decades. A woman sharing the raw truth of what it feels like when the person who should have protected you becomes the person you need protection from. A woman who finally feels free to breathe in a way she hasn't felt in years. And perhaps the most powerful twist in this entire story is Mary's belief in karma. Not the internet version filled with memes and quick justice, but the spiritual version. The belief that the energy you release into the world circles back. Mary holds tightly to the idea that goodness attracts goodness, that compassion matters, and that even after everything she endured, she still chooses light over darkness. She still chooses peace over bitterness. She still chooses healing. With her mother gone, Mary has the rare opportunity to break every generational pattern that once shaped her life. The storm she walked through is no longer behind her. It's beneath her. She survived it. She learned from it. And now she stands at a point where she can rewrite the future of her family in ways her past never allowed. Her story reminds viewers that resilience isn't loud. It's quiet. It's found in the moments where you refuse to let someone else's darkness define your light. It's found in the days you choose forgiveness, even when forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. And it's found in the courage to tell your truth, even when that truth is complicated, messy, or painful. As the season continues, audiences will see Mary in a new light, not as the eccentric mystery the franchise made her out to be, but as a woman who has carried emotional weight for far too long. A woman who is finally setting it down. A woman reclaiming her voice, her peace, and her identity. And that is where Mary's journey stands today, at the crossroads of closure and rebirth. The chapter with her mother has ended, but her story is far from over. If anything, this is the beginning of the version of Mary the world has never seen, the woman who survived the storm, stepped into clarity, and finally understands her own worth without anyone trying to rewrite it. Thank you for watching this emotional deep dive into Mary Cosby's complex past and powerful transformation. If this story moved you or opened your eyes to a different side of her, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss the next chapter of reality TV's most compelling stories. And let us know in the comments, do you see Mary differently now?